Hey, happy holidays, everyone. I'm here at home with my family in upstate New York. Before we go any further, please take a second if you're watching this on your computer and hit the HD button to watch this in high def. You're definitely going to want to make sure that you're seeing it in HD. Huge thanks to all the cameramen, all my guests, everyone that fished with me, beat me, lost to me, the guides, all the places that put us up, my executive producer, Steven Neslage, and Brad, Steven, and Campbell, and Heather for their support and belief in us throughout this whole project. Can't wait for you guys to see everything that we shot. It's beautiful. I know you're gonna love it. Enjoy. See you soon.
Just a boy, I wanna hear you talk. Counting sheep to pass the time. Found himself in a quandary, face to face with a lion. Just a boy in the valley, not much stronger than a sling. But he knew he was mighty when that giant came on the scene. When the fight became impending, well, he knew to stand his ground. He could gaze upon his history, see the victory in the ground. Every stone of his remembrance, let the record show. Just a boy with conviction is no match for a foe. Oh, oh, oh,
Real Bragging Right is presented by Steel Shad. Cast farther at steelshad.com. Fisherman Central, top brand fishing tackle at fishermancentral.com.
This week on Bragging Rights.
Today could be some of the best fishing you ever watch on television.
Jim challenges fly fishing veteran Brooks Robinson to a one-on-one duel on the Salmon River in upstate New York. The fall salmon run is about to break loose, and Jim and Brooks make a wager. They'll spend one day fishing Lake Ontario.
Feels real nice, Jim.
Coming at me.
And one day on the river.
Oh, it's tough.
Whoever can catch the longest fish gets this week's Bragging Rights.
Hooked up on a giant.
It's a Salmon River showdown.
My name is Jim Root, and I'm addicted to catching big fish. I quit my desk job to follow my passion, exploring beautiful places and landing trophy fish. After fishing bass, FLW, and writing a #1 best-selling book, I'm on a mission to showcase the most incredible fishing across America and the world. Each week, I find an awesome piece of water and challenge a friend. We place our bets and go head-to-head for real bragging rights.
We're in Pulaski, New York. We're in the northern portion of what New Yorkers would consider central New York. We're on the east end of Lake Ontario, and we are located in the lower 2.5 miles of the Salmon River. Fall season is the salmon run. The salmon are mature and they are migrating from Lake Ontario up the Salmon River in order to spawn. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have thousands of salmon making their spawning migration up the Salmon River, which draws all the anglers.
This is my good friend, Brooks Robinson. Brooks and I go back 10 years, probably. Really looking forward to putting the whooping on him today.
I've been fishing Salmon River in Pulaski for about 24, 25 years, so quite a long time.
We're gonna do biggest fish, inches.
Yep.
If I win, you give me Betty.
Betty, that's gonna be tough to part with.
Betty is his favorite salmon rod. How many fish do you think you caught on that rod?
I'd say almost all of them over the years. All right, if you win, I'll give up Betty.
Okay.
If I win, then I get your brand new river quiver.
What? All right.
Deal?
Yeah.
All right, shake on it?
Yep.
So today we're gonna head out anywhere from a quarter mile to a mile out offshore, out in the mouth in front of a couple of the rivers here, Lake Ontario. We're gonna be trolling for salmon. We got a lot of fish that are staging out in front of the river, getting ready to run the river. Water temps aren't there yet, but the fish are biting out here, so that's why we're here, and we're gonna get it done.
I've been up to the lake since I've been 5 or 6 years old. A buddy of mine, his dad had a boat up here. The conditions today are we're having an upwelling right now, which means that the warm water is blowing out into the lake and the cold water is rushing in underneath. They just got to get in a comfort zone here, and hopefully as the sun goes down, they'll start biting. Right now on the outside two riggers, we've got a tractor and atomic flies. On our middle rigger, we have a steel shad. On each Dipsy diver, one of them we have a tractor and fly. The other one we have a tractor with a piece of cup bait. We have a 300 copper down the middle with a piece of cup bait, and then we have a 7-color lead core with a J-plug.
Rock, paper, scissors for first rod. Ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Best out of 3. I knew you were going to say that. All right, okay.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
You totally.
All right, fine. I'm never good at that.
Screamer! Coming at me.
Jim wins the right to set the hook on the first fish. And it's a good bite.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. What happened there, buddy?
I'm pretty sure Jim lost that fish.
Whose turn was it?
What happened, Jim?
They just come off sometimes. Nothing you can do about it.
It's only the first chance. Jim shakes off his loss.
This one's there. I'm gonna swing him.
Jim beats Brooks to the first catch.
Quick, we're gonna let this fish go, so let's get some shots and...
But it's not quite long enough for today's contest, so the guys will toss this one back in the water.
We didn't even measure it.
It was small.
Oh, you got a runner.
Screamer, wicked screamer. Jim, I got a feeling that this is just
Don't worry, I'm gonna net it for you.
a little bigger than yours.
Real Bragging Rights is sponsored by Douglas Outdoors. Focused on performance. Find your local dealer at douglasoutdoors.com. Riversmith. Locked, loaded, and ready to fish. Riversmith.com.
Jim and Brooks continue to work Lake Ontario. Jim landed the day's first catch. And although Brooks' line's been hot, he's still looking to hook his first fish.
In the river, I'm at a serious disadvantage. Brooks is one of the best fly fishermen I know. But on the lake, that's my arena. I've done that many times.
Yup. Oh, yeah, feels real nice, Jim. Jim, I got a feeling that this is just
Don't worry, I'm gonna net it for you.
a little bigger than yours. good too. Oh yeah. When that thing fired, I knew Jim was in for a treat when we landed it.
Oh, you got a runner.
Screamer, wicked screamer.
Don't drop the net in the water if no rod goes off, all right?
Brooks has just landed his first catch on the lake.
I reeled my fish in and we put the tape on it. It's a beautiful 35-inch king salmon.
We've been out here for, I don't know what, an hour. We had a few rods fire off. Jim got one. We finally landed a nice one. Hopefully we can find some more fish like that tonight. And hopefully a lot more in the river in the next few days. What do you think, Jim? A little bigger than yours, right?
Yeah. We got time. That's a good fish.
I can smell that rod quiver right now, Jim.
To watch him boat a fish, you know, over 20 pounds, I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. That's a big fish. Multiple rods go off at once. I pick up the rod, I set the hook on this fish. I know it's a good fish, but I see the other rod too, and I know I gotta grab that one.
Jim, the nice guy that he is, hands the initial rod off to the camera guy.
Hooked up. Even the cameraman's hooked up. Our cameraman, Tanner, he's reeling it in, he's fighting the fish. And I can hear him, he's like, man, it's a big fish, a big fish. I grab the other rod, I'm reeling in that fish. I know this is a big one too. I'm like, oh, it's a big fish, Brooks. That's a big one, folks.
Think it's bigger than Brooks' fish, Doctor?
I think it is. Come to Papa.
All right.
And then the worst thing in the world that can happen to a fisherman on a boat, lines get tangled. We're connected. Kevin is in there, Kevin's scrambling, he's trying to get the lines untangled.
Kevin had us going over, going under.
Finally get the planer board in, get the lines separated. Hooked up on a giant.
Thank God the captain saved you, Jim. Is that on the copper, Jim?
Yep.
Yeah, it is a big fish, actually. I just see tail right now.
Oh my God.
Pull back.
I thought I lost mine. It just started running at me. Woo!
Jim knows he needs to beat Brooks's 35-inch king salmon.
I'm losing, but I mean, it's a good one right here. It's gonna be close.
That's on a J-plug. Oh! Hey, now, he saw me. We got him.
We got him.
Woo! Nice job, guys.
Yeah.
That's a chromer.
That's gonna be close, Brooksy.
I think I got you, Jim.
I get my fish to the boat, and it's a beautiful king. It really is. Beautiful Lake Ontario king salmon. That right there. When we throw the tape on it.
31 and a half?
31 and a half.
Dunk 'em.
I end up a little short.
But Tanner's was even bigger.
I think the cameraman just caught the biggest fish.
Jim's 31.5-inch king just isn't enough to get ahead of Brooks.
Jim's been on the lake a lot more than I have. He definitely had the upper advantage on me, but luckily I knew Kevin was gonna put us on some good fish, and I think it would be pretty even depending on who reeled in what.
All right, so it's 7:30 in the morning, and we've already been here 3 hours. We got down here probably 45 minutes before daylight. The only thing that is biting are the mosquitoes. There are no fish in the river right now.
It's a great inshore bait for our clients because it catches a lot of fish.
Steel Shad, fish bite it.
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 After a day of fishing on Lake Ontario, Jim and Brooks moved to the river in anticipation of the salmon run. They want to be right in the middle of the action when the salmon break loose and head upriver.
Here at Douglaston Salmon Run, it's 2.5 miles of private waters here on the Salmon River where we control the number of anglers. We also oversee the fishing etiquette to ensure everyone is treating the resource and each other with respect.
Fall season is the salmon run. The salmon are mature, and they're migrating from Lake Ontario up the Salmon River in order to spawn. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, thousands of salmon will make their spawning migration up the Salmon River, and that draws in the anglers.
We have Chinook and coho salmon along with Atlantic salmon. During the Industrial Revolution, the lakes got so polluted, extirpated the Atlantic salmon.
In the 1970s, New York State began reintroducing Pacific salmon to take over that top predator in Lake Ontario. The local fish hatchery near Pulaski played a big role in restoring the balance to the lake and the Salmon River. Pacific salmon took off right away, and now they number in the thousands, hundreds of thousands. An angler's dream.
You know, they limit the numbers of people that come out here. It makes it real nice. When you go upriver, where you're surrounded by hundreds of guys, it can get a little bit annoying when you get into the season. But this particular stretch of the DSR is just a pristine vibe.
I'm bringing in a friend of mine who is a guide here on this river, and he's gonna kind of help me out a little bit.
He's your wild card?
Yeah, his name is George Zervis. George actually brought me here almost a year ago to the day. I caught my first ever salmon on a fly rod right here. So he's my good luck charm.
All right. You know, here on the river, I feel super confident in our competition, just from my experience being here so much.
I made this bet with Brooks, and I knew that I was gonna be at a serious disadvantage. And so I called in George and said, I need you to find me some fish.
George is a local fly fishing guide and runs a nearby outfitter. He grew up on the Salmon River and knows the banks like the back of his hand. George is confident he can help Jim gain the upper hand over Brooks.
So it's 7:30 in the morning, and we've already been here 3 hours. We got down here probably 45 minutes before daylight. The only thing that is biting are the mosquitoes. There are no fish in the river right now. George basically hiked up and down this entire stretch of river the night before, and the report wasn't good. It was, 1 or 2 here and there, and that's about it.
Talked to a lot of people, same story, no fish.
None.
I'm from Montreal, Quebec, yes, and I come here every year since at least 12 years now to see a few fish, just a few of them, but we're happy. Even if I don't get anything, at least I see that movement. Well, we didn't see any movement since 3 days. Too warm the last days, so the water warm up a lot, so the fish just don't come in from the lake.
Right now the water temp is in the low 70s. Typically that is a little warm. However, it's cooling off. We're hopeful with this warm spell behind us and these cooler nights that are coming that some fish are going to start to come in.
You got to wait for a little bit of this cooler air to mix with the water, and I think that might turn them on, but it's a roll of dice,
Starting to get a little bit frustrated. I mean, we're here, we want to catch them, and we know it's going to happen. It's just, there's no way to predict when. At any given time, there could be 1,000 fish that decide to come running up here behind me.
For some, fishing is more than just a hobby. It's an obsession, always on their mind, driving them to cast more, learn more, catch more. Douglas Outdoors designs fishing rods for those who strive to master the obsession. For a chance to win the rod featured in this episode, visit www.douglasoutdoors.com/bragging rights.
This segment of Real Bragging Rights is brought to you by Breakline Optics. Made for the outdoors. Start your next adventure at breaklineoptics.com. Cortland. World famous fishing line since 1915. Gear up at cortlandline.com.
Hey guys, I want to send a special thank you to Garrett Brancy and the folks at the DSR. Also want to send a very special thank you to Jeff and Amy of the Sanctuary. If you're going to Salmon River and you're looking for a place to stay, I highly recommend those 2 places. Thanks again, you guys.
Jim and Brooks have moved from Lake Ontario to the Salmon River for their last day of fishing. Brooks tops the leaderboard with a 35-inch king salmon. But Jim is bringing in a secret weapon, his friend George Zervos, to help scout the river for the best spot.
The anticipation was high that the salmon were going to be in. We know it's going to be a great year on the river. So we all had breakfast sandwiches, chatted about the day, grabbed the rods, and headed to the river.
We start fishing, everybody's excited. We get down here early and nothing, no fish.
We grinded it out for a few hours, and it was fairly disappointing just to see how slow the movement was.
Starting to get a little bit frustrated. I mean, we're here, we want to catch them, and we know it's going to happen. It's just, there's no way to predict when. At any given time, there could be 1,000 fish that decide to come running up here behind me.
It could change any minute. Any minute. I've been here before with nothing coming up the river, and next thing you know, you're surrounded by thousands of fish.
The early season can be a little hit and miss. However, if you get the right day, you'll have thousands of salmon and no one else around you. And these fish are fresh this time of year. They're bright silver. They just come in from the lake. They're very, very powerful, very aggressive and willing to take a fly.
You know, we know it's salmon fishing and it can happen at any moment. We know how big the year class is out in the lake. We know how many fish are yet to come. So at any minute, this river could break loose.
Jim and Brooks know the big run is their best chance for a huge fish.
That was tough. I'm out of breath. Definitely had to switch our tactics up and been changing flies every 5 minutes. If you switch up and you find the right spots, it makes all the difference.
Nice work, my friend.
Jim's got a bite.
Banked him. He blasted it too. Oh man, that's not good. I'm gonna have to run with him.
Looks like this one's giving him a real fight.
Coming at ya. No! No! Sometimes there's just nothing you can do. That was just a giant king. It's one of the biggest kings I've ever had on here in the Salmon River. But that would have been the winning fish. I think we figured out a little something. We switched up to some heavier weight. That was just my second cast, and I hooked that fish. And it was hot, come right out of the water almost immediately. The deal is we have to get these fish into this softer water. You get them over there and they quit. And that fish ran me 15 minutes, nothing, and then all of a sudden, like a light switch, these fish just show up. You know, the next 6, 7, 8 hours today could be some of the best fishing you ever watch on television.
Jim needs to land a catch longer than Brooks' 35-inch king salmon. Pride, bragging rights, and his river quiver, they're all on the line.
Coming in the shallow. Good.
And he's got a big one.
Woo!
Yeah!
Well, after Jim hooked up at the head of the hole, I decided to steal a spot while he was taking a break.
Nice job, brother.
Nothing like having friends that share your fishing hole. We had to re-rig and lighten up. We were fishing really deep for a lot of the day, and we had to move up to some faster, shallower rapids.
Jim and Brooks both have hot hands. This is gonna be close, but who's gonna snag the big one? This 36-inch catch gives Jim the lead. Jim is locked in and landing fish, battling for a monster king salmon.
Jim and I are battling neck and neck. I'll be honest, Jim's done a lot better today in the river than I thought he was gonna do. Putting everything I got into trying to beat him. Oh!
Brooks' fishing rod Betty has been working overtime.
Oh! Houdini! Just 2 feet out of the net. That looks like a really nice female king.
At 36.5 inches, this gives Brooks the lead back. The guy's day on the river is coming to an end, and Jim knows this is his last shot.
It's big fish pushing his. I think I might actually I got a contender now. If I didn't win, I made it close. I made it very close. Right on. We need a measurement.
Can Jim beat Brooks and take his fishing rod Betty home?
No! No! I end up a little short. It does look like I'm gonna have to give up my river quiver today. It hurts a little bit, but I got a feeling that I'm gonna come back and get a little rematch maybe in steelhead season.
Maybe I'll take you up on bass fishing somewhere.
You know,
You literally just inched them out.
Fly only.
Just inched them out.
I'll still whoop him.
Brooks' 35-inch king salmon makes him the winner. Not only is he going to walk away with the river quiver, but Brooks gets this week's bragging rights.
See you guys. Not only do I lose to him and have to hear about it probably forever, but I lost my brand new river quiver.
See, Jim?
Which I'd only had for maybe 72 hours max. But we had a lot of fun, had a great time at Brooks, and now I'm gonna come back here every year for the rest of my life because this place is incredible, the trip of a lifetime for anyone.